Welcome to the Kat Michio Show and Indie Film Cafe. Today we have a very special guest, Dee Dee Pfeiffer, star of ABC's hit show Big Sky. Welcome, Dee Dee.
Having me.
Hi.
Like we've known each other. We just had like a half an hour about everything.
Everything. I should have been recording that.
We just did the interview off camera. Yeah.
Hoping. So let's talk about Big Sky.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love, first of all, I love the show and I absolutely love your character. You the character's quirky and your timing, your delivery and your timing of this character is so spot on. I just love it.
I think we all love the smart ass in every. Speaking of, yeah, she's definitely like the smart ass. She's the light. She's she's that kind of like the mama bear core, but I don't think Denise ever had her own kids. So these girls are kind of like her kids, and so she treats them like friends, employees, kind of kids, her best friends, But I love playing Denise for sure because the writers write great lines for me, and I just like inserted her butt in Doolin Hoyt, and that's her den. I don't know if you noticed, but it's like sit in that desk all year, which I think she does. And I always joke that she probably lives in the back. I mean, she probably has a bed in the back. I don't think she
never gets up.
I don't think she has a home. I think she lives there. So, and nobody notices that she lives in the back.
I saw something that when you went outside, I think for a minute, didn't you go outside once?
I did. There was a funeral that I got. Well, there's two funerals. Well, if you haven't seen Big Sky, Hulu, you can catch up on the first two seasons. And the reason why I say funeral is because we have a habit on Big Sky of inviting you on our show to play awesome actors, and then you might die or get killed or something happens. You'll have a good time before that happens, and people will fall in love with you, get tons of fans, and then the audience goes, "Oh, you did not to shoot him." Yeah, we did. I'm sorry, but it was super fun doing it. Because on our show we need to make room for other new awesome guests. But the joke of our show is be careful who you piss off because you could die. No one is safe on Big Sky. I mean, really, I'm always like, "Hi guys, how are you? I love my job. Don't kill Denise."
Nah, I think you're there for a while. Nobody would have a reason to kill you. Who would have a reason to kill you on that show?
Well, take care of that office. I mean, she does a lot of stuff.
That's right.
I actually did a shout out on my Instagram about what does Denise do when no one's looking? Well, the girls are out solving crimes all day long at Doolin Hoyt. And I have these videos on my Instagram. I have all the cast and some really huge actors, including my sister, saying, "I think Denise," and then everybody fills in the blank. It's so funny what people think she's doing. So you have to check that out. And I think ABC is gonna put it on their website.
You have another business going on in the back.
I'm camping out Denise on my own social media, getting people all riled about the third season. New night, Wednesday, ABC, Hulu. You see that plug? Boy, man, I'm shameless.
Plug away. That's what we're here for. Please plug. Because I watch it on demand, so I don't even know like when you're on hiatus. That's the thing that kind of is weird about watching things on demand, because you don't know when they really ended.
Really air, yeah.
And they really air.
You actually turn it on at the time in the channel that it's on. Yeah.
Oh, who does that anymore?
Maybe me, because I can't figure out like all that other stuff. My son's like, "It's not that hard." I'm like, "There's just so many places to watch things." We had 3 channels growing up. Okay, now I'm the man who went to school with one shoe in the snow. Okay, my father. I'm like, I'm not joking. We didn't have a clicker. We had to get up, turn the channel, rabbit ears. We had 3 channels. We all fought over
rabbit ears, right?
Aluminum foil to get the good thing going. And yeah, so they're like, "Oh, really, Mom? Wow." They're like, "Pull out the violins." And I'm just like, "Okay, listen, yeah." And I did go to school with one shoe in the snow, okay?
Yeah.
I have become my mom and dad. Okay, it's official. I love my generation though, because we're all laughing at it. I mean, because I never thought I was going to be the person that I used to make fun of my parents, and now I'm the one that makes
Yeah. No, but I mean, they're brilliant. All these millennials, they're just, they pick up things like that.
Kids get to feel empowered and they get to feel like they're smarter than you. A lot of times they are. It allows them to show their parents how to do something, and they can do it faster anyway.
And they can.
Because I literally end up following people. When I first started doing it, I was following all the other cast members, fan pages, because I didn't know there was. I didn't know like Catherine and Kylie and stuff. I just went in and I saw them, and I just clicked on it, follow. So I'm following their fans, not them. And they're like, "What are you doing? You're following my fans." I go, "I'm not following you." Like, "No, Didi, you're following our fans." Give me your phone. So
what season did you start on Big Sky?
buddy. Let's see, first season straight up 3 years, or I guess 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And I was part of the original cast, which was Catherine, Kylie, and me, and Ryan, John Carroll Lynch, Brian Garrity, the girls. It was a crazy show then, and it keeps, if you've seen it, it keeps. Big Sky gets like these rebirths. It's like you give birth and then we give another birth, and so I've been there since the get-go. What's kind of cool is that through this time I've been able to fine-tune Denise, figure out her voice in the piece, because I'm not out in the field, except for when I go to funerals. Although last season I did go out, I actually went to go help somebody with addiction, because Denise is sober, as I'm sober as well. And there was a character who they made sober. So they had it. So I used to be a sponsor. So Denise went out there to help. She didn't really help that much. But I love that the writers gave her a shot of going, "Oh, I can do this one." And they're like, "Denise,
we'll get back to the desk."
This one. That was last season. You'll see that scene where I got to leave. It's funny because I got to leave the office. I didn't even know how to act outside the office doing Hoy. I was like, "Well, wait a minute, who's Denise out here?" And this season I leave again, but for a different reason. I haven't filmed it yet. I'm actually filming it next week. Can't tell you why.
No.
I'm going to tease you, but Denise leaves the office again. And I'm not allowed to say, but I was so excited when I read it. I said, wait, Denise leaves the office again. Woohoo! Here we go. Third season. We're starting it off with a bang.
Yay.
Right. Yeah.
I'm still on 2. I'm still on season 2. Okay. I'm up to where the hot new sheriff just came into town.
Well, my character calls him Bobo.
And
I flirt with him. Jensen? You mean Jensen?
Is that his name? I don't know. I didn't think I was distracted. I don't remember.
Jensen, yeah,
it's all hot. Yeah.
Is it towards the end of the second season?
Yes. Yeah.
I have a scene with him in the new season coming up, and Jensen and I were on. I was on his show Supernatural. He was on my show Sybil, and now we're back together again on Big Sky. So, and we happen to be kind of very similar in types in our acting. So when we started doing our scene, it was hysterical. I mean, it was pretty funny. So we'll have to cut it together, but we were sparring. It was fun. Wow. I was like, stuff. He was throwing it back.
How is the director with like? Are they like do you have to pretty much keep to your the script, or do you improv a little bit?
Little bit. Really changed, because back in the day you could not even change one word ever, and they would come and correct you. The line is, "It is not blue," not "it isn't blue." You're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," right?
Yeah.
Now it's different. The writers, who are also the producers, I would say have the most control over the set. And then the director has the visual control over it. So the directors and the writers all work together. And then the actors, we are allowed to bring in a little bits.
Yeah.
Each scene time, sure we make that hour, it's actually probably like 40-45 minute time, because it can't go over. So if you do improv something, that means something else has to go. So it better be really good, or it's going to get clipped. Right? Yeah. So, and I improv a lot because I come from improv. So a lot of the stuff I do it's on the editing room floor, but that's okay. That's all right. I never give up. I keep throwing it in there. Trying to make sure that Denise is nice and relevant and saucy and sassy and sexy.
And you And you have the cast and crew on their on their feet, right? Oh no, she's at it again.
Yep, when I get the crew to laugh, I know I'm
I
on.
love it. I love it because I act too. I get it. I just did a
There
scene.
all day long, and then if I get them to smile or laugh,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, and all of a sudden the crew is laughing. It's perfect.
yeah, for me, I'm like,
Great.
yeah.
I'm so happy. I'm so excited to watch Big Sky, by the way. I'm very excited for the new season. Started your career in '85, right? Your acting career. And you have like acted with some big names, like with the names like George Clooney and Michael Douglas and Keanu Reeves. Very nice.
Yeah, they're very hot guys.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that's a nice trio right there.
Yeah.
Stop. I'd be good.
Actually, I would date myself. I started in '82.
Oh, 82. Okay.
Or like, why do you keep aging yourself? I'm like, it's just a number that keeps track of time. Chillax. So yeah, I have been really, really, I'd have to say one of the luckiest actors I know. I've worked with a plethora of amazing actors, very hot, very talented, directors as well. George and I go way back. We're actually friends. We dated before we actually worked together. So that was super fun. But before he was huge, and we were out there trumping around. But then years later, he called me and he's like, Dee, they're casting Red Surf. You know, they can't find the lead. You got to get in there. I was like, well, wait, why haven't I heard about that? So he secretly, behind closed doors, coached me on exactly what to do so that I get the role. Because he was there reading with all the actors and they couldn't find the actor. So he saw what their troubles were, what they couldn't get. So he literally called me over, and then we rehearsed all night. And so I went in the next day and I nailed it. They were like, oh my God, she's perfect. We're like, yeah, because I worked on it all night last night and I had the in on what you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Friends. Gotta have friends, man.
And thank goodness you stayed friends after the breakup. It's always
Actually,
helps.
I'm one of the few people who dated him who I'm still his friend. Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Georgie, he's a good guy, man. Good people, that one, like to the heart.
But they all are. What about Keanu Reeves? He does a ton.
Keanu is like this like, his soul is so free.
You see pictures of him like giving money to homeless people and like, I know, he's just so kind.
Yeah, his authentic truth is light.
Yeah.
Pure light. I don't think that the guy has a mean bone in his body. I never saw it for the years that I think we dated too. Anyways, I can't remember. Anyways,
You think?
I was a little crazy. My son listened to this. So he's like, Mom, really?
Oh my
yeah.
God, you are.
I call him Canoe
You
Head.
and I are so similar. I can't.
No,
We'll talk about that after.
We dated everybody. We just, it was the 80s, the 90s.
Yeah.
We did things differently back then.
Yes, things were different.
Yeah, we called it something different. But anyway, so he is one of the most effervescent. Is that a word? I don't know. But just when I think of Canoe Head, that's what I call him. He's light. He's always light, and just adore him. Adore him. He's amazing. What was the other thing you mentioned? There was a few.
There was Michael Douglas.
Oh yeah, no, I did not date him. Although he's hot. I played the Whammy Burger girl in Falling.
That was in Falling Down.
Yeah, I was offered that role because Joel Schumacher had read me for Malibu 2000, which is a series he was doing, and he really liked my acting, but he liked Drew Barrymore better. Hello, I was back there with Patricia Arquette. You know, I was out there auditioning against some really amazing people. So yeah, I mean, the competition was very tough and still is tough, actually. So he really liked it. He said, I'm not going to pick you for this, but I'm doing this film with Michael Douglas. There's a small role I want to give to you. And I think you could do something with it. It was just written relatively flat, right? So I read it and I was like, oh my God, this is a great role. And I never view roles as little roles.
No, there's never a small role. Yeah.
I have a career out of little roles, okay? Yeah. Where you just cram it with interesting choices and you stick out from all these huge heavy hitters. Exactly. That's how you fly, right?
That's it.
But I'll tell you, when I went to the wardrobe fitting, I had decided that she was Bonnie and she was waiting for her Clyde to come in the whammy burger one day to save her from this job. And she was just so above it and all that. So I had this whole thing scored like she was the sexy thing. And then I went into the wardrobe fitting. They put this polyester suit on me, zipped it up, and a hamburger on my head. And I was like, I finally got a scene with a huge actor, Michael Douglas, and I have to do it with a hamburger on my head.
A hamburger?
It was a hamburger on my head.
Oh,
And
sexy.
it destroyed me. I was like, well, how am I supposed to be sexy with a hamburger on my head? And of course, the way I was trained, I was like, well, Sheila, that's her name. Sheila is above this hamburger on her head. You know, she's not, you know, I just had to rise above it like Sheila would. She hated this job. So that when Michael Douglas's character came in, it fueled everything I did, right? So when he pulled out the gun in the original script, when everybody hit the ground, when he pulled out the gun, my character, the line is, he's got a gun and we all hit the ground. So of course, Sheila would never do that. She would, oh, and he's got a gun. And I went over the counter at Michael Douglas, like, take me. Oh my God, you're so sexy. And he not.
And then you offered him the hamburger.
Yeah. He started laughing, and Joel Schumacher got up and started laughing. They were like, that is hysterical. So professional. He just was like, because his character is confused. So he was confused. And so it was great. Problem is, we did it during the riots. It was literally with burnt out areas on the outside. That when they released the movie, there was still a sadness. So they had to take that element out because the movie kind of hit home, too close to home. It reminded people of the riots. So Joel had to soften a lot of the stuff in the film. Gotcha. And so that stuff went, which I completely agree with. Like now you could keep that in, but it was too close at the time.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy how like certain films that come out, they like kind of go by the wayside a little bit because of what is going on in the world.
I truly believe that's why Falling Down, it's well credited film to this day. People see and go, oh my God, you know, Michael Douglas, everybody's performances are amazing. It's just the timing.
The timing, yeah. And who knew? Who knows what the timing is, what things are gonna happen. Yeah, you don't know.
It didn't really do probably as well as it would have, but it's such a special film, and I'm really proud to have been in it. And I got to work with Michael Douglas with a hamburger on my head.
With the hamburger on you.
People remember me. You're like, you're the girl with the hamburger on her head.
Yes.
Yep, that was me. Just call me burger head.
So let's go back again a little bit and to your you went back to school.
Actually, I went to school for the first time.
You went, so you never went to college. You never, you went straight. All right, so you're starting fresh.
I graduated in '82 and threw my stuffed monkey in my Volkswagen and drove to LA and started working as an illegal cocktail waitress at a female oil mud roasting place and was taking acting classes.
This is a movie. I want to do your documentary or make a movie of your life. This is amazing. Like the monkey and the Volkswagen, the visual was just unbelievable.
Rattlesnakes just the other day.
With the snake, scooping them with the brooms.
I'm not the stereotypical actor, that's for sure. Like if there's a box, I am so far out of it. It's like here's the box and I'm like a couple miles that way. So yeah, and I was like, hey, I want to be an actor. And my sister was like, well, you're getting into acting class. Don't even think about an agent. Don't even think about headshots. Just get into an acting class. Mm-hmm. I was stuttering. I couldn't remember my lines. I was a nervous wreck. I was painfully shy. Why I thought I could act, it's still a mystery. I still think I can't. So I continuously always try to be better, to rediscover things, always remain curious, always trying to change, you know. I always said
have life experience now, right?
That to me, yeah, life experience. Mm-hmm. But it was about 12 years ago, I got a little frustrated and the industry had changed a lot. And I really love doing volunteer work. I help people, I help children, Children's Hospital, saving animals, did all this kind of stuff. So I finally, and I wasn't really working at all. And I thought, how am I supposed to support my kids? So I decided to take a turn for a minute, and I walked up at community college, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, hi, I want to get a degree. They're like, in what? I go, I don't know. You tell me. I just want to help people. And they're like, that's not how it works, ma'am. You need to tell us. I go, well, I just want to help people. And they're like, do you want a psych degree? I said, okay, that works. So they started giving me an IGETC thing. I didn't even know what that was. And they're like, okay, we're going to put you in a class just to see and do some assessments. And sure enough, learning disabilities up the wazoo. I graduated in 82, do the math, no computers. There was no algebra. I didn't know why it was 2 + X = 5. I thought it was a typo. I couldn't even solve that because I didn't know what was an X. Man, X is algebra. I said, okay, and they're like, oh, whoa, she really told me to write a prompt. Like, I have no problems talking. So they said, write a paragraph to see what my writing skills were on this topic. I wrote 2 pages, no periods, no capital letters, no rhyme nor reason to where I was going with the conversation.
Run.
Opinion about it. And they were like, well, she's opinionated. She doesn't know how to write. So there are 3 more prerequisites. So I had to take a ton of classes that these kids are learning like in 3rd grade, basically, just to get to the first degree in the community.
Wow.
Yeah, while raising 2 kids and the whole thing.
How old were your kids then?
Let's see. That's a darn good question. Oh, I graduated in 2020. Yes, via Zoom because of COVID. But it took me, I think, 10, 11 years. So come back to 10. My son's 20. One's 16. So 12 years ago, because now it's, yeah. They were little. One was, I know one was sick. I was tutoring on a paper, and one was sick in my arms. I remember in the tutoring station, I just slapped them around like little monkeys. I also though took a year off to get sober and go to rehab and get my shit together a year before. Yeah, right. A year before I actually graduated. So my 2-year master's program turned out to be 3 because I had to take a year off to finally address the monkey on the back, which was of a high functioning alcoholic. Which I'm a huge advocate for having the conversation about addiction. See how I just slipped that in there? Now I'm going to continue
Absolutely.
on. So my area of concentration as a social worker, which is my master's, is mental health, addiction, homelessness, adults. I don't work with children because I'm a mama bear and I would get arrested if I had to go into someone's house. Anybody abuse an animal, child, or elderly, I'd lose my shit. So
Yeah.
I work with
You go directly knocking on the door, like
my friends actually do
the
that.
groom.
Well,
Yeah.
because it's not them, it's the system. The system that they have to work in is broken. So
Yeah.
we won't go there for a minute. But so my area, so I was able to get my degrees. And then out of nowhere, my brother-in-law texted me when I was a year before my last year and said, hey, are you still acting? David E. Keller, who did Big Sky. I was like, what? First of all, he has my number. I see him on Christmas and Thanksgiving and we love each other, but like we never talked on the phone. But he texted me and said, hey, so are you still acting? Because I have a role that I think you're perfect for, named Denise, in this show that I'm doing called Big Sky. I was the intern in the Department of Mental Health. And I'm reading this and I'm like, huh? So of course the answer is yes, yes.
Yes, it's an exclamation.
I call my sister who's married to him and I'm like, Sal, David I think he's offered me a role. And she goes, he did, honey. I wasn't going to tell you.
Wow.
Yeah, can you finish your master's and do it? I said, oh, honey, I raised 2 kids on my own. I rescue Rottweilers and wild animals. I can do anything. I work with little hinges on my head. Yeah. So that's kind of how that all happened. I always say to people, you never know what's going to happen.
You never know.
In life. Just always remain curious and open, never resistant versus curious. Look at the visual of curiousness. Look at the world that you look at with curious eyes versus resistant eyes.
Yes.
Right. So I did not know.
Curious is open.
It's look at it. The world is your
There's barricades there, right?
Yeah, look at that. It's diffused. It's
Wow.
So you know in your heart when you're listening to somebody or that versus like this. This does not mean accepting. That's different. This means listening with curiosity. Just let the information come in. Right? So because here you don't even get all the information. Right? This is not all the information. Right?
That's kind of like the left side of my brain. I'm kind of this. I'm I'm an artist. I'm all right sided.
All right, Brent. I go to college and I'm like,
Oh,
not my backyard. So yeah, I didn't raise my hand for the first 2 years because I would lose my voice because I was so shy and I thought I felt like an imposter. Like I had no right being in college. This is not my world. I'm an actor and a producer and all these things and a single mom, but I'm not a student. Took me years to develop my student legs.
yeah.
But let me tell you, it was such an interesting thing going into the world with the right brain, waking up the left brain the whole time. Come on, baby, come on. We got a paper to write. Come on.
Yeah.
And then come back to the industry with a completely different, profound sense of understanding of the way the world works.
I think the classes, the psychology, the sociology, all of those classes really make sense when you're acting too, because I went back to school late and I took those classes. I was always the one, excuse me, I think the subliminal messages, oh yeah, I see in the liquor glass, I see that penis. I see no, I do. I see a penis.
Yeah. I was always the one in the back raising my hand. They're like, oh, that woman stopped raising her hand. And I'm like, I have questions, okay? I'm not understanding.
Maybe we were in the same class.
I'm telling you, Mom, you do not raise your hand that much, do you? I said, yeah, of course I do. And they're like, they must hate you. I go, that's their journey, man. I'm here to learn this shit because I want to learn, because I want to go back out and apply. I will say this about learning the book stuff. I'm not a book person.
Yeah.
Love lectures, give it to me orally. But I will say you plant the seed with information from lectures and books and taking tests and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's the application, I think, is where you really learn the most. Application meaning in the field. When you're actually in the field, interning under somebody who's actually doing what it is you're interested in, that's where you learn the meat. That's where you see the stuff from the textbooks come up in real life. But here's where it can backfire. I was in the field with people experiencing homelessness, and this guy was talking about what was going on, and I stupidly did what you should never do with a real population, which was, oh, I understand what you're saying, and I can hear that really bothers you. He said, don't do that psychobabble shit with me, that college crap that you guys learn. And I thought, oh yeah, he's right. I threw it out the door, whipped out one of my cigarettes, gave him one. I said, something, you're right. I'm really effing sorry. I said, you're right. I'm sorry. Let me try that again. I don't know today.
No.
Hold on. Not pretty out here, is it? All of a sudden, he and I had a great rapport. He called me out. I had to own it, throw it out the door, get rid of that college stuff, that psychobabble stuff that they see through. It insults them. It makes them feel like they're less than you. And I had to even that playing field to create a rapport and trust.
Mm-hmm.
The way to do that was just to make it real, man. Make it real. So I got to know a lot about that population.
Yeah.
Yeah, that population, very misunderstood. But it changes your life, and you go home.
And so much that like it could apply to people that are ill. Like I'm a breast cancer survivor, and people would be like, oh, I understand. My aunt died. This one died. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, stop telling me how many people died of what I had. Don't
stop it. Yeah. That's actually mention that because one of the things I love to do is educate people on how to have conversations and the words in which you choose. People, I don't think, mean to say certain things, but it's, then again, they don't know.
They don't know.
Have conversations. For instance, when you're talking to someone experiencing someone with cancer, there is a way to talk to them through a strength-based perspective. Yes. How about stories of all the people who survived breast cancer?
Right.
Yeah, I'm talking to this person who somehow created a 2-story treehouse illegally with bootlegged electricity from the golf course and a microwave that he pulled out of a trash can. And instead of me saying you're squatting and whatever, I'm like, dude, how did you do this? Are you like talented? That is sweet. And he's like, yeah, well, I used to be an electrician before I lost my job. I lost my family.
That's a Leonardo da Vinci project right there.
pointed out their strengths. Girls were pulling hair extensions out of trash cans and putting them on their head, and I'd be like, well, I like that. Now, what did you try twisting it and doing? If you twist it around the band, then you don't see the hairband. They're like, oh yeah, out and homeless, and I'm helping them do their hair. Absolutely.
Wow.
Strengths. Always point out someone's strength. Always show them the light side. Because trust me, they know the dark side. They know, you know the stats on breast cancer. But I think people just don't understand. And that's just educating people, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you get I call it the face. I'm sure you get this because you're in recovery. Do you get the face? Like, how you doing? You okay?
You know what I get? I get people's inventory. I say, oh, hey, you want to go for a drink? I said, yeah, probably pounding coffee because I'm in recovery. Oh, today's my 4-year sober birthday.
Today?
Today, I forgot to.
Congratulations! Yay!
Girl, there have been days. When you're in recovery, there are days where you get to now look back and go, whoa, I did it. I got through some of those days that were really hard. I know, being a survivor. I get people's inventory when I say I'm in recovery. They go, yeah, I only drink on the weekends. Or, yeah, I've been drinking a lot lately, but I think I'm gonna probably quit too. Yeah, that's a really, all of a sudden, I'm like, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm down to 1 a day. No.
They tell me like, well, how do you drink? And I'm like, oh, well, thank you, but I'm that, okay, thank you for that. I think it's hysterical. We talk about that. All my friends, I go, so you get someone's inventory today? They're like, yeah. They don't know what to say to you.
No.
Because which this is why I'm so excited about being part of the conversation. Like, how do you talk to someone who's recovered from breast surgery? How do you talk to someone who recovered from alcoholism? How do you talk to someone who's thinking about it, doesn't know how to do it, or someone who's completely activated in their disease, right? How do you have these conversations?
Yeah.
And I'm excited about being part of that solution for sure. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, I'm spending my birthday with you today, girl.
Yay! I'm so excited. I used to live in the Hamptons, and all my friends were in AA. Mm-hmm. And they always said to me, you don't understand. I said, well, bring me to a meeting so maybe I could understand a little bit. And I used to go to them, to the open meetings, and I got a little, I will never be one of those people like, hey, I know, I understand. No, there's no way I could understand how it is. But I got a little piece of what people go through, and it's a real struggle every day. My God.
First of all, I want to thank you for being curious. Thank you for wanting to go to AA meetings.
I want to support my friends.
Well, I love that. Thank you for being curious, not resistant. Yeah. Something you know nothing about, which is, but you're interested in it. And it's interesting. People say, I always joke about that. You don't know my story. You don't know me. But you know what it is? I think that's silly. I think that's kind of silly. And I love though they took you to the meetings, because it is kind of probably an important thing if you have someone in recovery to just go to a meeting with them. The best meetings are the gay meetings in WeHo, because they have the best snacks, the best coffee, and they're funny. They tell their stories about smoking meth off of some guy's butt in a parking lot. But they're now 35 years sober, and you're like, I love you. Okay. You're like, that's what sobriety looks like. And you can have fun with it 35 years later, and you're still not doing it. Thank you, man. You got me through today, right? I know a lot of my normies, that's what we call it, like you would call you a normie because you're not an addict, go to them and they get a lot out of them. A lot of out of the meetings, meaning there's a lot of things you can apply to your life when it comes to other things. It's not just only addiction. And one thing that is so beautiful is the support, But see, I gather support from not just my sober friends, but from my normies and my family as well. And they don't understand the dynamic of the whole recovery thing. But
are you the only one in the family that went through that?
Yeah. Well, my dad, high functioning alcoholic. Mm-hmm. And he went to the light from cancer, but he also went with the disease. He never had the opportunity to go to like the rehab that I went to. Yes, while going through menopause. You want sexiness on steroids, go to rehab in your 50s, going through menopause. Not sexy about that. But you know what's sexy is admitting that I did it. And yeah.
Wedding in the church basements.
And that's something else about recovery. I mean, I said to them, you're not going to get me on that AA like God thing, because I have no problem with people believing in their gods. I think that's really beautiful. All my friends have a God, and they're all of different religions and cultures. I'm just more of a spiritual person. So the girl who ran the rehab just said, here's what all it is. Is there anything bigger than you, Dee? What would you say is bigger than you? And I'm like, well, Mother Earth, what I'm standing on right now, is big, a lot more powerful and bigger than me, Mother Earth. And she goes, and that's your higher power, period. It's no bigger or less than, that's it. Space, the galaxies is much bigger than me. Then that's your higher power. You just have to believe in your heart and your mind that there's something bigger than you, and that's like your God. Otherwise, God, my God is a group of drunks. I totally ripped that out from my AA meeting. My God is a group of drunks. And I'm like, no, right? I love you. But so you can have the religious part of it, which I think is actually a plus and easier for those recovering if you actually have a God that you were raised with.
Yeah.
But if you don't, like me, and a lot of us don't, if this remote control, you believe in your heart and your soul is bigger than you, then this is your God. I didn't want my dog to chew it because she chews everything. So it humbles you knowing and believing something's bigger than you. It humbles you. That place of humility is where a lot of the healing and gratefulness comes through, and helping other people, which is a huge part of recovery. It just makes you a better person if you're smart. Otherwise, you become a dry drunk. My whole thing about being a dry drunk is if somebody's not drinking, still an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I'm just gonna be a sober asshole, then I'll just continue drinking. Because that makes sense.
Yeah, they just become angry at the world.
Yeah, which that can happen, and I feel for them.
Yeah.
I feel for them. I'm hoping one day to have a podcast or something so I could help maybe some of those people through that. They're looking through life with a lot of resistance, which is why that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of resistance, versus a lot of curiosity. Because curiosity also like keeps you alive and keeps all the brain chemistries triggering, like dopamine and serotonin and all that stuff. Just keeps you alive. Yeah, quality of life. Yeah.
Wow. So let's talk about all of your animals and the love of your animals.
Remote. Thank you. Right. Okay. I have been rescuing animals since I can remember. I've always felt, and I still do really, that I get along with animals better than people. I think that we understand each other because I respect them. I just respect animals. I approach them on their terms, right? Mm-hmm. People I find are really complicated, even though I'm a psych major, I'm a social worker, still find people rather complicated.
Well, it's good that you feel that they're complicated as a social worker, so your mind is open to a lot of things that's going on in their head. It's not just black and white.
Well, thank you for saying that, because what we have a tendency to do as clinicians, social workers, or people who work in these fields is that we have this linear perspective. All addicts are like this. All people bipolar are like this.
Oh, no, it's not by the book. It's
right.
Not.
Breast cancer, you all are like this. No, and no. I've always said you need a multidisciplinary approach towards every one person, and they need an assessment that is ideal to them. The questions can't be stock for everybody, and there has to be room for more questions that allow you to get to know them on a very personal biopsychosocial level, meaning your biology, your culture, your environment is going to be different. Your traumas is going to be different than other breast cancers.
Yes.
Life that brought you to this disease, right? So you got to take all that into consideration when doing an assessment for a treatment plan for you versus me versus somebody else. So that takes time. Mm. And most people, we want to just kind of get it right, check the boxes, get the insurance, give them a diagnosis, give them a pill, and off they go. Mm. And I'm not a big advocate of that, although people have been healed and feel better having that. go for it. I love it. I personally just feel a lot of people, they need a little bit more TLC when it to that perspective. I'm not like any other addict, that is for sure, and no other addicts like me, right? So our treatment plans are going to look different.
Like they had called me, the hospital called me, oh, would you be willing to speak to another breast cancer person that's going through the treatments? I said, but did they go through the treatments that I went through? If they didn't go through the treatments I went through, how could I talk to them? I mean, it's very different. Maybe some lost their hair, some didn't lose their hair, some had their breasts removed, some didn't have to have their breasts removed. I was a different situation.
Yeah.
My cancer was, they told me if I did everything that they told me to do, was 98% chance it wasn't going to come back. A lot of these people, it's not their situation. How could I talk to them? But what I do is I talk to people that just found out that they had cancer and they're gonna lose their hair and all that. And then I warn them about things, and I will talk to them through that. But I can't, it was difficult because everybody's an individual.
Yeah.
Everybody had a different treatment.
And I think that we forget about how important support is.
Yes.
Support is so important. Whatever it is you're going through, support. And what that's like, you were talking, what the support looks like.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who talk at people. Like you were saying, I need to talk to this person. So if there's not some similarities, it's gonna be difficult for me to bond with them, right? To be effective, to be helpful. So I love that you were transparent and honest about that. And there would be somebody else who's a little more similar to her or them.
Yeah. I think that was just difficult for me because I had it good. I'm not great. I mean, I went through 1.5 years of treatments and I went through, the whole gamut. But, I don't want them to say, oh, well, you have a 98%, I have 50-50. Like, what do I, what do you do then? So I prefer to talk to people and tell them how to, like, if they, need to shave their head and then get a wig, and I tell them all of that through the cancer versus helping them through the treatments, because that's just not my thing. Everybody needs that, because I didn't know there was no cancer in my family at all. I didn't know anything about chemo or radiation.
So you were the first one to go in there and break new ground. That's me in treatment with alcoholism. Alcoholism was run rapid all over my family, from both sides of the family, the whole thing. But North Dakota, they just drank, that's what you did, And you got the old, why drink? Because your mom. No, you don't. You drink because you're fucking alcoholic. Anyways. Yeah. And my mom had mental health issues. She had shock treatments in the 50s. So I was raised by a woman with shock treatments. So there's that element. Oh yeah. But what yeah, but so the thing is that I love what you're saying is there's a place for everybody.
Yeah.
There's somebody else who can talk to them through the treatment part, but you can talk to them in the beginning part.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk to certain people on a certain level with diseases and what have you, with mental health, having a mom who had that experience. I wrote a paper on it in college, actually, my mom pre, during, and post shock treatments. And then being transparent, what that looks like, being a single mom, I could talk about that, but you're right, there's a place for all of us.
Yes.
Again, you're saying I'm good in the beginning, but don't be giving me the people at the end. You need someone else to talk to them. I love that. That's called multidisciplinary. Everybody focuses on something they feel they're good in. You're good here, someone else is good here, someone's good there. Now you have a group, a support team helping. That's beautiful. I think we have to do that more often with more things in the world versus person going in a linear way, right?
Right, because then it becomes black and white, and it's not. Nothing is black
and white other than a damn zebra. The zebra has dirt on it, which is not black and white. It's like brown.
It's pretty zebra. What's black and white and red all over?
It's a zebra in a
diaper rash or something. So one of those silly things.
Isn't it a zebra in a blender? It's so bad.
No, I said diaper rash. You said in a blender.
That I live in the gutter. I warned you that if there's a gutter, I'm going there.
Right?
Not the F-bomb. They're probably never gonna air this. Like, ABC publicity is like, why does she have to constantly go? Can't she do an interview where she doesn't cuss? I try. It's fun. I can't.
Oh, trust me, I'm holding my tongue.
Everyone bleeps me. It's fine. The kids just shut off their earballs.
And the animals. We never got to the animals. Yes.
Basically, I was illegally rescuing wildlife all over LA.
Illegally, what do you mean?
I didn't know that when you pull over to save a deer or a coyote or anything that's considered wildlife, which would be not domesticated animals, you have to have a wildlife license to pick them up and transport them to vets that are wildlife vets. I didn't know that, so I threw them in the back of my truck and off I went. And my vet goes, honey, Dee, you know that you have to have a license to do that. I'm like, oh, psh, listen, he's dying, just, you know. So he said, well, here's the thing, legally I can't take it unless you have this license. I said, well, what if I were to leave it out in your garage?
Oh, right. It's just there. You're gonna let it die, or you're gonna take care of it?
Happened to be in a gurney
Yeah.
out in the garage. And some guys were walking by and helped me get it out of my truck, and it landed on the
Fell
gurney.
out. Yeah. And
Wow, that could happen. So I had the best vet who we just kind of went wink, wink. Sir, this deer just showed up. It was the craziest thing. The girl off, going, woo! I saved.
he limped over.
Like, don't make me lift the damn deer over my shoulder and bring it in there, because I will. So I saved. Like I said, there was snakes, anything, tarantulas, deer, coyotes. Anything that got hit in the city, I will pull over and try to see if it can be helped. If not, then they go to the way station and they become food, because at least it goes back into the Mother Earth, you know, and trash, which is just ridiculous. So I did that for years. When I was a little girl, we lived in Orange County when there was orange groves everywhere. Orange groves, flat orange groves. There was no house tracks in Orange County. And Ed next door is this guy from like Kentucky or something. He had a garage sale, and we went next door to get stuff from his garage sale, and he had a box of ducks. So of course, everyone else in my family, or I think Lori, my sister, came home with like a Barbie or something. I came home with a duck.
That life.
No, you don't get to go to a garage sale and come home with a duck. I said, oh, I want to keep them. So my dad was from North Dakota. All right, come on. Oh, I think I lied, which he said, go bring it back. He said, no refunds. I'm surprised I didn't get smacked for that. My dad would smack you for less, but I think he liked the fact that I had a little moxie going on there, and I did like animals. I'd sit in the back and cry with cats I would save, and he said, that cat's not coming inside, so I'd sit in the backyard crying with it. Oh, yeah, I won't let you come inside. Like I said, it was always animals, so I had a pet duck for a while until it started running through the doggy door after the dog in the house, and that became a mess. Always had rescues.
Do you put like a little duck diaper on the duck? I mean,
would go poo in the backyard. And I made like a little pond for it out of plastic rocks and water, which always stunk. And it would just poop everywhere, which I'm sure now I'm thinking back, my parents hated that. I'd go up and have to wash it off. It was dirt back there. But when it started coming in the house, that's when my parents were like, okay, the duck's got to go. But then it went to my aunt's farm, and I'm pretty sure we ate it at one point. Yeah, which was fine. It traumatized me. Trauma number one. And I went to become a vegetarian after that for like 10 years. Now I'm not, only because I don't really know how to do it well. I'd love to be a vegetarian. It's just
I'm a pescatarian. I haven't eaten meat since I'm 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst vegetarian. I just didn't eat meat, so I ate French fries and drank.
Oh no, that's not good.
When I was as long as I didn't eat meat, and then my hair would fall out. I was really thin. I was really, it's like the worst vegetarian. Like I just ate anything that wasn't meat, which is generally shit that I liked, which would be chips, candy, French fries, and booze.
Burritos and chips.
Potatoes and a bottle of wine. It's like, no, that's not how.
No,
I'm not eating meat. Kind of
gotta be some nutrients in this.
Yeah. So one day, maybe if I can figure out how to be a proper vegetarian, I probably will for sure. I think it would feel better. But for now, if I do eat meat, I just make sure it's burnt. So it doesn't look like what it really is. I burn it. And I put so much sauce and hot sauce on it that it becomes a piece of leather with hot sauce. So it's fine. But I do love animals. I think it's just more of a connection thing.
Yeah.
I love Mother Earth. I love Mother Earth. And I think that I want to be part of the solution, trying to keep her alive with all the beautiful creatures on our earth. Yeah.
I so agree. What is your sign?
I'm a Capricorn.
You're a Capricorn.
But I'm like this, but I'm like a bunch of kings and queens and knights in the numerology or something.
Okay.
And then dragon in the Chinese. I think there's another category called whack job. I'm
The
definitely
other zodiac sign.
other zodiac sign that says whack.
That went off with Pluto, I think.
That's a whack job. I hate that anyway. I'm like, well, if the shoe fits, don't hate. I have fun to you.
Pluto and whack job are together somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've probably gone over an hour, but I don't care.
I love it. Take it as you want. There's editing anyways. Go in there and clip all those.
What editing? We don't have editing.
Oh, you don't have editing?
What for? I think this was perfect. I think you're amazing. And yeah, I could edit it, but I don't think we need to.
I'm used to being edited. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
No, thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to Big Sky,
Hulu or wherever you get your streaming.
ABC,
ABC.
ABC, and
Yeah, we switched nights. We're on Wednesday nights starting September 21st.
at 10 Eastern,
At 10 Pacific time. Yeah.
10 Eastern, 9.
85 for official. I'll start doing a lot of blasts on us coming back and reminding people to go to Hulu to catch up.
It's a fantastic show. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love your quirky, amazing character. And yeah, I want to get you on the other show, the All Paws Pet Talk too, because you are so, yes, I'm the host of that, and I want to get you on because you're amazing.
Thank you.
You're so cool.
I love meeting people who are part of the solution.
Yes, you are. You're doing so many wonderful things for people and for animals. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
For both, it's you are Mother Earth.
Oh, thank you. Great job, Mother Earth. Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Dee Dee. You're awesome. I'm so glad that Melissa put us together.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Bye.